Hello everybody, my name is Rafael Ojeda and I will be talking about the ethics of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki nuclear bombings. Let's get started.
After falling for 43 seconds, the time and barometric triggers started the firing mechanism. A uranium bullet fired down a barrel into a uranium target. Together, they started a nuclear chain reaction. Solid matter began to come apart, releasing untold quantities of energy.
We all know the story, so I'll briefly summarize it. On December 7th, 1971, the Japanese decided to bomb Pearl Harbor, causing 2,400 U.S. casualties. This causes the U.S. to join World War II. On August 13th, 1942, the Manhattan Project is created in response to the rising fear that the Germans were working on a weapon using nuclear technology. And of course, 3 years later, we know this. Nagasaki bomb was dropped. 74,000 people killed instantly. 3 days later, Hiroshima was dropped. 140,000 people killed instantly. A total of 210,000 people dead. Before I talk about anything else, I would like to first use the class standard of what ethics is. Something ethical is considered to be good. For example, health, wealth, and happiness. Well, something that is considered unethical is the opposite, like the taking away of any of the four things I mentioned before. When I talk about security as one of the ethical standard tests, I would like to talk about both the good and bad, not just during the war, but after as well. The nuclear bomb can be argued in both ethical and unethical ways in terms of security. After World War II, the nuclear arms race started. Russia and the US threatening each other to see who would do what. Not only did countries develop more bombs, they made stronger ones. Or are countries developing bombs that can take out millions of lives to win wars? Is the war really won if half of the country's population is taken out? Who will the winning country have left to conquer over after the war? That is, even if the retaliating country does not drop a bomb as well. Of course, you have to argue, is war even ethical in the first place? From a good standpoint, nuclear bombs represent how far we have gotten with research and technology. It has become a deterrent for even the most powerful countries because they must think twice about attacking anyone. Not just worry about if they have weapons, but also if their allies do too. This was not the case during World War II, of course, because nobody but the US did. Was it the best possible outcome? Definitely not. Was it the better ethical outcome? Yes. Diplomacy was not something the Japanese and Nazis wanted to do, so the only way to do it was with force. There was another idea of getting Japan to surrender, though. It was an invasion similar to Normandy. That idea was quickly thrown out after looking into what the invasion would look like. An estimate of 1.7 of 4 million U.S. casualties could have occurred, along with an estimate of 10 million Japanese military and civilian casualties combined. Of course, a difficult decision for President Truman. He made the solely military choice to drop the bombs. The nuclear bombs seem to have been the more ethical decision, as millions of lives were spared, and of course the president was looking to save his own men as any ethical person would. Under the subject of the ethical standard test of health, the Manhattan Project did not just create a nuclear bomb. It helped further the research of medicine with helping to create MRI scans possible. It also helped with looking into radiation therapy, also known as chemo, to treat cancer. It's quite hard to look past the fact that it took 210,000 lives in order for this type of innovation to happen. Without this tragedy, maybe our current lifespan would be much shorter due to there not being any cancer treatments. It was definitely unethical for a bomb to be dropped on civilians in order to stop a war. Yes, it could have dragged out for much longer, and millions more could have been killed, but at the end of the day, the people who died had nothing to do with the disagreement of two countries. After World War II, Japan was treated as another country that the US was there to fix. The surrender of Japan meant that the US, along with the Allied powers, would occupy the state for almost a decade. This can be argued both ways as an ethical and unethical point of view. The removal of the monarchy was done after the war, causing it to become the democracy that we know today, along with an ally to the US. The rebuilding of the country to a modern one was also done during the occupation. This occupation by the US and its allies was arguably the only one to have succeeded in the rebuilding of any nation in modern history. To conclude my video, it can be argued that without the research of the Manhattan Project and the dropping of both nuclear bombs, the world may not be what it is today. To back up my statement, the Manhattan Project did not just create a nuclear bomb. It helped further research regarding medicine, as I said before, MRI scans, and radiation therapy to help treat cancer. It also furthered the research of nuclear reactors and generators that is needed today for modern consumption of energy. Of course, it is tragic that 210,000 people died, without a doubt, due to developmental update of technology, and in no way the best outcome. Was it the better outcome? Yes. But let's be real and ask ourselves, is war ever truly ethical? Is it even possible in modern society for that even to be the case? Thank you for watching my presentation. My name is Rafael Ojeda, and I'm signing off.